Cool. Oh, hi there. Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video, and having just done a video about VR, I thought I'm due for a VR of another type, video response. In fact, Ben of T-Rex Spacestation actually posted a little while ago his latest video game random collection question thing, and I took this long to actually reply back. That's actually because it was Star Wars Day, and then I had the VR headset, so it took a little while here, Ben, but I'm coming through at the final hours. So let's get on with Ben's questions. Now, Ben's first question was, name the last game you bought. And the previous time that I answered these questions for Ben, I hadn't bought anything in 2017. His first question was, name something you bought in 2017. I have since corrected that, though. During spring break, I was downtown in Vancouver, and there's a retro game store there that I'll probably do a video about someday. And they had in there a game I've been wanting to get for a while, and that is Race Drivin' on the original Game Boy. This is an amazing achievement considering the hardware that this thing is coming through on. It's hard driving for the old arcades, and I think it was on Genesis and various other, I know it's on Xbox. Anyway, hard driving, the arcade machine where you're driving around, you go over the loop and stuff like that. They made a a version of that called Race Drivin' for the Game Boy. It's an amazing achievement. It's probably my favorite Game Boy game as far as what they actually managed to accomplish with the hardware. But anyway, the last game I bought, Race Drivin' for the Game Boy. And the second question is, name a game with collectibles in it. Now, there's a lot that could qualify here, and I was actually thinking of going with Assassin's Creed Syndicate because I'm currently working my way through all of the little things that you collect in that game. But I thought, you know what? It's about time I started talking about the first Assassin's Creed game. And there are collectibles in this, and it's actually ironic because they don't serve any purpose at all. At least in Assassin's Creed Syndicate and all the more recent ones, you go and you pick up like, posters and booklets and pressed flowers and bottles and stuff like that. And you get an achievement, or you get a trophy out of it if you're on PlayStation like I am. Assassin's Creed, the very first game, which is still my favorite of the bunch, there were flags that you could collect. You could climb up buildings or go down into tunnels or go under bridges and stuff, and you would find these little flags. Some were just standard symbol type flags, and then there were some that were Templar flags. Grand total, there was about 500 of these flags in this game in all the different cities and out in the wilderness for you to collect. And why were they there? No reason at all. At least if you're playing it on PlayStation like I was, PS3. The original version, the original intent of those flags all being throughout the game, I guess was just to show, look at all the work we did, go and investigate it. And I like collectibles, don't get me wrong, but for the first game, if you were playing it on Xbox 360, you got an achievement for collecting a bunch of flags. I think there were 4 achievements total for different stages along the way. Because the Xbox 360 had achievements when this game came out. But the PlayStation had not yet introduced, PlayStation 3 had not yet introduced the trophy system. So I collected a few of these flags in Assassin's Creed 1, and I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. Why am I doing this? And I looked it up online. It's like, yeah, if you got a PS3, there's no reason to collect those at all. If you got an Xbox 360, you get achievements, but since there are no trophies, there's no point. And they've actually retroactively added some trophies to some of the old original PS3 games, but they never did it for Assassin's Creed 1, so again, there's no point in collecting them. I just thought that was kind of an interesting way to answer Ben's question. Something different. Collectibles that serve absolutely no purpose. The next question Ben had was name an RPG, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine not too long ago about this specific one I'm about to name. It came out on the Super NES, and I never had a Super NES. I've got access to one now because my wife owned one, but growing up and even in my retro phase, I never really had a Super NES, so I never played this one, and it's one of the most famous of the RPGs for the Super NES. I remember hearing about it and thinking, yeah, a lot of people are talking about this title. I wonder if there's any way I could ever try that one out. And then ironically, it came out for the Nintendo DS many years ago, and I got it. And that is Chrono Trigger. I really like this game, and my friend who was asking me about it is like, have you ever played it? Oh yeah, I played it on DS. He's like, isn't that the most amazing game ever? It's like, yeah, I really like it. I'm not a huge JRPG fan. I like them if they're good, and this one is very well done. The nice thing with it on DS is I think all the inventory is on the bottom screen, so you can just pay attention to what's going on the top screen. I normally don't enjoy like random encounters or that turn-based fighting system that is in JRPGs a lot, which is ironic because when an early RPG I played on the computer back in the day was Wizardry and Ultima, and they are actually very similar turn-based combat systems. So I should like JRPGs, but I'm not that big of a fan. However, Chrono Trigger is very charming. I like the characters, and once you get to a certain stage, it's very open. You can go to different areas. I never fully beat the game. No major spoilers here, but there's a point where you can take on the big bad guy at the end of the story at any point after about the halfway mark, but it's good to like go through all the other parts of the adventure to level yourself up so you can take him on. I got to that point. I could take on the main bad guy, and I did, and he kicked my butt, and I thought, ooh, that's when I found out, oh, you're supposed to investigate and rank up and do some grinding, and I thought, maybe I'll come back to it. I never did, but I did like Chrono Trigger on the DS. And the fourth game on Ben's list is name a game with the C in it. And there's a lot of these, so I wanted to make something of an appropriate selection. It's ironic that I was going to go with Assassin's Creed Syndicate for the collectibles, and then I ended up going with Assassin's Creed 1 for the collectibles, because the C is kind of paramount in Assassin's Creed 4. It's a pirate game, and I thought, nope, you've done your Assassin's Creed reference. That's it for now. No more Assassin's Creed. But there was another pirate game that was really good, highly recommend it, and that is Sid Meier's Pirates. This is the one on the Wii, which technically I haven't actually played, because I played Sid Meier's Pirates, like this version of the game, on the PC 10, 15 years ago, and really liked it. And then I think that machine, I had to replace it or something, so I never really got the game again. And when I saw the exact game for the Wii, and it only uses the Wii remote for the control scheme, I thought, yeah, $10, yeah, I'll totally get it. It's really nice because it's got a nice over-the-head combat sailing your ship thing. It's also, it splits to, and you know, you've got these things where you have to like maintain your cargo and keep your crew fed and happy and paid on time and stuff like that. But you also do these things where you can do missions for whoever the governor is for the city, and if you want, you can woo his daughter, and one of the challenges as part of that particular path, if you want to follow it, and I think sometimes diplomatically you're required to do this, you have to dance with her or somebody in like this dancing room. And it's like a rhythm, like almost like Dance Dance Revolution. You have to hit the buttons at the right order, or you start fumbling and tripping and stepping on her toes, and the governor will be like, oh, he's a terrible man. No, not a gentleman at all. So it's an interesting new little mini game within this pirate adventure. There's also a part where you go, if you want to attack towns that are weakened, you can sort of attack them with your cannons first. Then you can go into the town and take over. And that's like a real-time strategy thing where you move your troops and they move theirs and you have little combat things. It's a game with a lot of depth for what is basically just a very simple pirate adventure. My one complaint, and I haven't done the Wii version, the PC version though had this problem. It's quite a challenge to get your economics right, where you've got enough money to keep your ships going and repaired and well maintained, and lots of cannonballs. You also have to keep your crew paid on time or they mutiny, and that sort of resource management is very challenging. You can fast forward time a bit so that I believe the dissatisfaction of the crew fades away over time. And inevitably, my guy was getting really old. And it's like, you're 50 now, you have to retire soon. I'm like, oh, good, just got into the game. So I'd be interested, when I'm going to play this again on the Wii, I'll be interested to see, did they tone that down a bit so that the resource management's a little easier to handle. However, Sid Meier's Pirates on the Wii, awesome game that has the C in it. And the last game that Ben asked about is name something that's part of an anthology, a collection of games all on one cartridge or disc or what have you. And again, there's a lot of these I could have gone for, so I thought I'm going to mention one that, again, I've talked about this is going to come up on my channel in the future. This is a game that I got for weird reasons. So, the game itself is the Street Fighter collection for the original PlayStation. It has several different versions. What's it got on here? It's got Super Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha 2, and also Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, all on different discs, and you can play them, and it's not that great. I mean, I've already got Street Fighter for both Super NES and also on Genesis, and these are better versions of Street Fighter 2. I mean, as far as the graphics are concerned, I really can't see how these are any better or worse looking than what you get on PlayStation. And the problem with the PlayStation 1 is as you finish any of these matches and go to the next stage, you're into them immediately. With the PlayStation, you actually wait for the disc to load, so it's actually slower to play the classic. I mean, yeah, you get Street Fighter Alpha, so that's good, but it's not great for that reason. So why did I get this? Especially since it was, it's a little bit rare and actually kind of valuable. I mean, when I saw this in Vancouver Retro Gaming Show from about 4 years ago, the guy wanted, I think, $20 for it, and I've seen it go for way more than that now. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna grab it for $20. I think this is, like, it's an uncommon game, and a lot of people want it. So I'm very, very happy I've got it. And the reason I got it has nothing to do with playing Street Fighter at all. I'm going to save that mystery for another video, though. You're going to see this for a weird application that has nothing to do with actually playing Street Fighter on it. Alright, well there are my answers to Ben's questions, the 5 random video game collecting questions. Sorry this is a little bit late, Ben, but with Star Wars Day and that VR headset, I wanted to get those out first. So until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.